everyone, and welcome to the show. What just happened?
I was trying to throw you off your rhythm.
You succeeded. You screamed like a 4-year-old trapped in a well.
Like that?
Folks, it's Local Chat, episode 212. I'm your host, Will Crosby. I am joined by one Ian Gibson.
Hello, it is I.
And a 4-year-old girl who fell in a well.
And I'm a ghost.
Ooh, you became a ghost fast.
I even know it was a ghost. It was a ghost that fell in the well.
If you drop a 4-year-old down a well, they're turned into a ghost. Trust me.
Chris from Save Date is here. It's not a ghost, so uncover your pants. It's okay, folks. We're here to talk about video games. This is Local Chat Podcast. Sorry, it's been now that we're doing this every other week by decree from the Gibson clan. I'm just
no, I offered it, and you were like, "Yes, please."
That's pretty good. It's actually nice. But I've completely forgotten what happens in the world now. It's weird. I'm selling all my Tesla stock. It's crazy. Everything's burning.
You sold too late, my man.
Still too late. It's the chit chat section at the beginning. It says TTT, which I believe we are talking about Trouble in Terrorist Town, which is great. Great Gary's Mod game type.
Never played it. Always wanted to.
Same.
That's a stream idea right there. We have to play the Gary's Mod original. We have to go find a Gary's Mod server.
Could I could run one of my.
Yeah, you could. We talked about this on Tuesday a little bit on stream, but I do have an important question for you folks. Do you think it's appropriate to watch Tora 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 on an airplane flying to Japan?
Do I know what Tora 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 is?
It's the 70s movie about Pearl
Harbor.
Because here's the thing is I've been meaning to watch it. It's on my Plex, and I'm like, what movies do I want to download and take with me to watch on the plane? And I was like, oh, I've been meaning to watch Tora Tora Tora. And then I'm like, is that the right choice?
How long is the flight?
I think the one over is 14 hours.
So you could do Tora Tora Tora, Bridge over River Kwai.
It would
watch Bridge Over.
Let us say Wajima. Flags of Our Fathers.
Yeah.
Our Fathers.
Yeah. Pearl Harbor. Michael Bay's Pearl Harbor.
Grave of the Fireflies.
Yeah, that's good. We're way over time.
Just crying at the
Red
end.
Line. Yeah.
What's that movie about the guy Solo? He survived like the POW camp and escaped and everything.
I don't know that one.
Something like that. Do that
Solo?
one.
No, that's a different one.
Yeah, Solo is the rape movie. You don't want that.
It follows.
It's funny you would call it a rape movie because it technically is, but it's.
I mean, it's an every crime imaginable movie. Does that make you happy, Ian?
No, it's not that. It's just like a non-consensual BDSM movie. Is basically what I would call it. Anything and everything.
500 Days of Sodom for all you kids at home.
Yeah. Anyways,
I genuinely knew someone that put that on at a party in film school and was like, "This will be fun." I don't think he knew what the movie was.
Didn't realize.
But
God,
Jesus.
It's a wild movie. It's worth watching just to be like, because you know how like you watch movies and then you watch movies and you're like, oh, this is a little weird. This is a little risque. There's movies like that and In the Realm of the Senses where you're just like, oh, they're just filming fucking everything. You know, like it completely pushes boundaries in a not necessarily a good way, not necessarily a bad way, but it's like, you know, it's just a crazy movie to watch and be like, they made a movie with this in it. So I honestly would recommend it. You know, push the boundaries a bit. It's not great. It's okay as a movie.
That's it.
So I'm gonna watch that on the plane. I do think I've been thinking about taking the what's it called, the M4 edit of The Hobbit, the one that's like the fan edit 4.5 hours long.
I have 2 Hobbit edits on my Plex. I've been thinking of diving into watching one of them, and I think one of them is the M4. I forget what the other one is.
Yeah. So I did download that. So we'll see what goes on there. We'll see what's on the display back. But you know, if you or anybody in the chat has some recommendations for great movie flight,
I actually crazy. I have a great recommendation. I recently got all 26 Zatoichi samurai films on my Plex.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I recommend for. I was I've been in a samurai Japan mood lately, mostly because of Shogun, the television show.
Great show.
And then I watched the Twilight Samurai, which is a fantastic movie if you haven't seen it. It's with Hiroyuki Sanada, who plays Toranaga-san or Toranaga-sama. And it's like this down on his luck samurai sort of like romance movie set in like the 1860s.
What's the name again?
The Twilight Samurai. And the coolest thing I will say about it is the like sword fights are like huge chunks of unedited shots of them just fucking fighting. And it's like not like cool, it's not like amazing cool fighting, it's like realistic grunting, like fighting and knocking things over. There's even one shot where they're like fighting and the camera pans and it just pans to the hallway they run down, but you can't see down the hallway and you just hear them fighting and wait for them to come back into frame to fight more.
That's cool.
That is probably the coolest thing about it. But it's a great film. I discovered it's like barely available in the US. There's like the best version of it is a Japanese Blu-ray version, which has an English dub, or not English dub, English subs on it, but it's still like max 720p, the film. It's like not any higher, so that led me down to the Lone Wolf and Cub movies, which I haven't seen. And then someone in that thread,
ridiculous later, my man.
Someone in that thread's like, "Oh, you should watch the Zatoichi. He's the Blind Samurai films from 1962 to 1989. The same guy played Zatoichi in 26 films.
Is he actually? Is the actor blind?
That no. I do not think so.
Satoru Hanzo might be his name. And no. And he also directs several of them.
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, there is a 27th. There is a reboot.
Oh, yes. I saw a 2003 reboot, which people said was also pretty good.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So
have you watched any of these yet?
No, I haven't. I was going to start them, but they're all like an hour and a half, which is nice. Yeah. Like quick.
Oh, that's perfect.
Quick movies.
I've seen 4, I think, of them. The first one, I'm just going to pre-warn you, not a lot of sword fighting.
Yeah, I just like wanted to put some old samurai movies on, and I was like, let me start with like the like generic samurai movies, and see where. I didn't want to start with Seven Samurai and be like, watch the best one first, you know, and then everything's downhill from there. So I'm gonna check it out.
Or Tom Cruise is The Last Samurai.
Tom Cruise is The Last Samurai.
Watched it again recently. Still good.
Ken Watanabe is fucking great in that movie. Jokes aside, he's so good in that movie.
I watched it in college, and my friend and I sometimes, anytime someone says sake, I love to fake yell sake, because he's just like screaming it in that when he's like deprived of having it.
Like withdrawal.
Yeah, he's just screaming sake, and I'm like, that's so great. So watch all 26 on the flight and The Last Samurai, and you'll be good.
Awesome. I'll start down those now.
Perfect. It didn't take too long. 95 gigabytes though. I mean, I wouldn't know. Who knows? Folks, it is time to talk about the video games we've been playing this week.
Whoa.
Oh, wait.
No,
oh, sorry. Chris bullshit. Sorry, you didn't write it down.
Chris bullshit.
You're right.
Otherwise known as a Would You Rather section of this show.
Yes, Would You Rather. I got 2 for you this time. Which one do you want first? Lists or monuments?
Ugh. I don't know. Ian, choose.
If we don't pick, do we not have to do that? we got about a 90-minute runtime. I will sit here and say, just do lists. Let's do lists.
All right, lists. This one's actually kind of an interesting question because it's like not even really.
Thanks for bringing an interesting one.
Oh, it's not. It's not bullshit. It's a legitimate question, actually.
Would you?
What list? What list existing on? It doesn't matter. Do you think you would rank the highest on, or be most prominently featured if it's not ranking style list? I took this idea from Charlotte on Astro Goblin, so that she thinks she's the 600th most famous trans person. Like if you lined up all trans people, she'd rank it at about 600 on the most
About
famous.
600.
So what
That's fair.
what list do you think you could rank the highest on? It doesn't have to be famous. It can also be like, most willing to kill men for money.
What?
Oh, like you don't have to be like number one, but you got to be pretty high in the list,
Like
right?
Yeah.
what list do you think you'd be high on? And like where do you roughly think you'd be?
So this is kind of a genuine answer. So I went to school at American University of Beirut as an American. I was there the entire 4 years, not as an exchange student, which is rare in the first place. I think there was only one other person I knew like that out of the student body. And I also got basically the equivalent of valedictorian when I graduated. So I may be I could be the only like American student at American University of Beirut to get that honor, or at least a very short list. That's my real answer.
That's pretty good.
Well, you got one.
Yeah, I have one in my head, but I can't say it because you'll learn way too much about me. But the other one I had is
What the fuck?
the other one I had was, I am pretty sure I'm on the top list of the owner of the most Galactic Empires cards.
Oh yes,
Yes,
yes.
100%.
You're first or second. You're first or second.
No, there's at least like 4 or 5 people who have more than me, for sure. Have more
That's
than
too
me.
few. That's too few people will.
Fuck.
Mine's very easy. I'm the second most famous Chris Elliott.
That's
Not only are our names spelled exactly the same, we also have the same middle initial.
Jeez.
You could never join
son of a
SAG.
bitch.
Yeah.
No, I'd
You'd
have to go
change
by
your
like
name.
Christopher J. Elliott or something. I wouldn't be able to go by Chris Elliott.
That reminds me of I had a friend in college and he was Armenian. There's not a lot of Armenians in the world. His name was, his last name was only used by his family. So he knew everybody with that last name, and he was the only person with that first name. So he very confidently was able to say, I'm the only person in the entire world with this name. And that was pretty cool.
Pridge from Save Data, he is one of 2 Michael Pridgetels in the world.
Oh, wow.
Someone should name, Ian, you should name one of your cats after the guy, so there's someone else with that name.
And then send him a photo of the documentation and a big fuck you, buddy.
Yeah, or just name my kid that. If I have a kid, fuck cats. I'm going full bore at him.
I mean, you shouldn't.
Right.
Yeah.
This one's called Monuments. Which world monument / landmark would you like to eat the most?
I knew it was going to be eat. I knew it was going to be eat. It's always eat.
A lot of these involve eating. Assume you have the power to ingest the whole thing in the amount of time it takes you to eat any normal meal. This can be ludicrously fast. All major newspapers and outlets will cover this eating, and the headline will read some variation of name, eats entirety of landmark name.
Okay, I think there's
it'll be a
problem with
photo
this.
of you mid-bite of whatever you're eating.
Okay. I think there's a flaw with this, which is that if I'm not mistaken, this starts with which would you want to? And the answer is none of them. I don't want to do this.
It does say which one would you like to eat the most?
And I don't want to. I don't want to eat any.
What does it taste like?
I'm gonna say if you could pick what it tastes like and what it tastes and feels like in your mouth, so it's not just eating stone.
I'll say you can pick what it tastes like, but it has to be appropriate for the monument. The only example I can think of this is like the Leaning Tower of Pisa would need to taste like something Italian.
Okay, I got it. I would want to eat. It may still exist somewhere. I don't think it does, but I would love to eat the Saddam Hussein statue that was toppled during the 2003 invasion, and I want it to taste like hummus. I just want a whole bunch of hummus. That's what I want in my life. That's what I want.
I want to eat the Statue of Liberty, and I want it to taste taste like pennies.
Pennies.
I don't think it needs to change taste. It probably will taste like
I want it to taste
pennies.
like mint ice cream.
Oh my god! All right, Chris, what are you eating?
There's a couple, but I'd love to eat the bean in Chicago, mostly because that's funny, but secondarily because fuck the guy who made the bean.
Yeah,
this guy loves.
What did the guy who made the bean do? I feel like there's some goss there. I don't know.
Oh, he's a real piece of shit. He's like an artist who is like all about like suing other artists and using copyright law. He made a black paint that only he's allowed to use, and if you use it, he'll sue you for over $1 million.
Same guy.
He sucks. He's like a publicity stunt douchebag.
He should look in a mirror, to be honest.
Yeah.
Perhaps a bean-shaped one.
Yeah, perhaps a bean-shaped mirror.
Perhaps a bean.
Oh, he also hates if you call it the bean, which fuck him. It's called the bean.
It's the bean. Yeah.
What else would you call it?
It's like, I think the name is like Cloud Obscurus or some shit like that.
Cloud
something
Atlas.
Cloud, yeah.
Cloud Atlas, yeah.
The true.
And then very similar to Cloud Atlas, there's one part with Halle Berry that's worse than the rest of the bean.
As that one gay scene that's really awkward when you're watching it with your parents.
I watched it on a plane. Cloud Gate is the name of it.
He's from QAnon. Got
Is
it.
that with Nixon?
Yeah. It's when Nixon stole clouds.
I didn't steal those clouds. Agnew. Okay, is that all your bullshit? Are we?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, thank God. Folks, it's time to talk about
If you want more.
video games. Maybe at the end of the show. We'll talk about video games. Ian, you're successfully becoming a trad wife. Yes or no?
Yeah, I saw you write that down.
correct.
I was very excited for whatever this is going to stand for. Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
I'm sure you guys-
hold on. Can I guess?
Yeah, you can go
Something
ahead.
aerial defense, and it's another fucking flying game.
It's very close. I'm sure you guys have heard the sad news by now. Everybody's still upset about it.
I know this.
We're learning how to deal with it. I actually got a gig as part of this to kind of dig into it. Of course, we all are all upset that the root trees are dead, but it's okay. I've gotten to the bottom of it. So the root trees are dead is a puzzle game where essentially a famous candy mogul family, his private plane has crashed. It's him, it's his wife, and his 3 famous daughters. Kind of like the Kardashians, but not bitches. They seem like wholesome people.
They're loosely inspired by the Kennedys, according to the dev.
I could see that. Yeah. And long story short is the plane crash happens. Somebody shows up at your door, and you're known for being like a famous, I don't want to say famous, but for a very good genealogist, somebody who reconstructs family trees. And they show up and they're like, hey, I'm sure you've seen the news. There's going to be a lot of people clamoring for part of this will and wanting some of this money. We need you to reconstruct the family tree of the root trees. And the way it works is that you're in your room and you can use the internet. It's 1998, I believe. So you can use a rudimentary version of the internet to search for these people by name and pull up web pages about them. And that'll give you information that you can then take to a cork board, which has the family tree on it. And it has all the members on it, but they're all blank. And for each of them, you need to figure out a photo of them, their name, and their latest profession. And you basically have to fill out the family tree using that. Sometimes somebody will come by and give you evidence, but it's pretty rare. Most of the time you're finding stuff online. And sometimes they'll be like, hey, you found a copy of this flyer, and it'll print out, and then you have a copy of the flyer you can look at. And the way it works is basically every 3 family members that you fill out correctly on the tree, they get locked in. Basically say, hey, these 3 are accurate. Here they are. And then you move on and have to figure out the rest of them. So yeah, I finished the game. It took me about 4 or 5 hours, I think. I would say if you like Oprah Din and Case of the Golden Idol, Curse of the Golden Idol, you will probably like this game. I don't think it's quite as good as those games, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean that's a high standard to live up to, frankly.
Yeah,
Very true.
but it was also like I was loving it for the first maybe 40%, and then it hits a point in the middle where it feels like finding evidence is pulling teeth. So it has this great quality of life thing where you can search things, and it's not a full-blown internet, right? As far as I can tell, it's not returning internet pages. It's returning summaries of the page. So like if you type in, like the root trees, then it's like, oh, you find a website that talks about the root tree history, and it talks about so and so and so and so. And then you could like it'll list like 5 names, and you could search for one of the names, and it's like, oh, this is, the person who won Root Tree Employee of the Year. And then at the end, it'll say something like, you can tell this is not connected to your investigation in any way, and there's no need to dig further. Like, it'll flat out tell you like, hey, this is a dead end. There's nothing here for you to go after. It also has a periodicals section, which at first is blank. But like one of the early things you do is like you're reading about the root trees, and it's like, the CEO got Business Watch Man of the Year in 1986. And then you go to the periodical section, and you have to specify what publication you want to search. Like, it doesn't give you a list. So you have to go, oh, Business Watch is the name of a publication. So I'm going to search the root trees in Business Watch magazine. And then it pulls up articles. And then the third thing it does is it has a public library where you have to provide the title and the author. So if you're reading an internet page and they're like, somebody talks about a book that talks about this called such and such by so-and-so, you then go to the library page, put in the author and title, and it'll print out like relevant sections from that book. The problem is those connections are thin. And as you get deeper into the game and the difficulty ramps up, you hit this point where you're having to like scour every single thing for any little possible clue, which means you literally hit a point where like 1 out of 20 searches is valid, because you'll take some name and you'll be like, search the web, nothing. Okay, search Business Watch, nothing. Search this different periodical, nothing. Search this different periodical, like because by the end of the game you have 6 or 7 periodicals. So for each time you're like looking at something and saying, is this something? You have to do like 7 searches to figure out if it is something or not.
Gotcha.
And the other thing was, it got to this point at the end where I had the tree like 80% filled. I knew the mystery. I knew the ending thing, but I did not have the tree filled, so it wasn't going to happen for me yet. And I started just abusing the shit out of the hint button, because the hint system's really good. The hint, I don't know if this is actually what they're doing, but it's what it feels like. Is it feels like they're looking at your tree, they're picking one of your empty or wrong spots on the tree, and they're saying, here's 6 hints in increasing easiness about that one spot. So they'll be like, you should look at this person's siblings. And then they'll be like, that sibling mentioned something about where they work. And then they'll be like, hey, that's mentioned in this piece of evidence. Like, it'll give you increasing hints really nicely about specific things that you are missing. So it's not like a hint system where it'll give you hints that are completely irrelevant to you. But yeah, I just started abusing the shit out of that at the end, because I was like, I know I'm close enough. I don't feel like going back through everything for the 15th time and searching everything. So just like give me 1 or 2 hints, and then it'll be like, oh, this piece of evidence has this thing here. I search for that. Okay, now I've uncovered more. So yeah, it's a really cool premise. I think mechanically it's very well done. I just don't think they constructed a good puzzle here, which is a shame, because there's funny stuff. It's a cool story. There is a second part, which feels like an epilogue, because the first one is all about figuring out the family tree and some secrets in it, and the second one I think takes place like several years later. I'm guessing is shorter. I haven't tried that one yet, but it's just a shame when they build a perfect puzzle game, but the puzzle itself is just not that great.
Yeah,
that's the root trees are dead.
Yeah, I think I still want to play this. I think I'll try to play it this year. But I'm gonna wait till there's a sale or something and grab it.
Yeah.
I think it's because I got it on sale for 15. So if the sale's still going on, it may be on sale right now.
No, it ended. I was pissed because I turned on my computer today and I was like, oh, let me buy the Steam games that have been sitting in my cart. And I clicked on my cart, and my cart was like $70, and I'm like,
$3,000.
Oh. And instead of like the $5 it was. So I was like, oh damn, I missed it.
Yeah, I got some other games to play, but that was pretty much the big one that I played this week. I'm kind of just I'm kind of doing other shit right now. And maybe I'll come back to video games at some point, probably on the trip, but for now, just the root trees. That's all I've been playing.
Makes me interested what that guy will do next. I know it was his first game and it wasn't even supposed to be a full thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I wasn't aware. That's a very good effort for a first.
I believe it was like a student project.
Yeah, it could be like the
whole
thing about
IO.
The whole thing about Local Thunk and Balatro and how it was just a test project to learn Lua.
Yeah,
and it ballooned into Game of the Year.
That's wild.
Did you see what they said the other day about pulling a Banksy?
No.
It was like, I'm not trying to pull a Banksy. I just want to be left alone. That's awesome.
It's like
pretty
it's like the Flappy Bird guy not enjoying any of the stuff with his success.
Yeah.
Pulling a
all that
real
shit.
Coney 2012. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't even on the ballot. Folks, I've been playing some video games this week. I finished Avowed. That is the
How'd you like it?
Obsidian. You know, Chris.
Tell him the truth, Will, you piece of shit, because I'm still upset about this from last time. Tell him the truth. What did you do?
Oh, I started skipping dialogue on non-essential characters. I just shot through the dialogue. I don't think the writing in this game is very good compared to
It's
other
good.
Obsidian
It's good.
games.
It's not great, but it's good. You're wrong on that. It's good.
I'm sorry. Did you play all 38 hours?
No, I did play like 7.
No, so you don't get to say that because the writing at the beginning of the
It's
game
good?
was very good, and then it stopped
okay,
being
okay.
good. I
Gotcha,
don't know.
okay.
I think the entire story and the conclusion of the story and the mysteries were kind of lame. It sort of connects it, and also the game just ends in a weird way. I will say, similar to what you were saying about the root tree stuff, all of the systems of the storytelling and the like pacing of the boss fights and the like locations and stuff you go to were great. It's just I did not care about the overarching story and like what we were doing. It just wasn't fun. And that's me. Other people could like it, but I just really didn't enjoy it. I will say the combat in that game is fantastic. I really like the spells and the shooting the guns and I actually didn't use bow and arrow at all. I didn't use a spear. I used a sword for a bit and wands and stuff like that. It's really fun. Figuring out all the different puzzles, you can just kind of come up with your own answers to them in a lot of ways. Like there's a lot of the puzzles where you have to open the doors by hitting the little spark pad, and you can like, or if you're burning things and stuff like that, you can use any ability that creates sparks or creates fire to do those things. So it like comes across in a couple cool ways where you can like manage to hit things in the unintended way. And the looting system was fun, and all of the quality of life stuff that game added with the like sending things to your stash anytime you're encumbered, fast traveling to party camps, and then when you finish the party camp, it lets you just go back to where you were, not pre-party camp, which is great. Fast traveling between regions sucked. You could only fast travel to like the region, and then within the region you had to then fast travel again. That was annoying. But this really wasn't a game.
Oh, that is weird.
This really wasn't a game other than one quest that you had to go back to Paradise for. And you didn't have to go when you were finding all these cartographer maps. You didn't have to go every time, but I just was. But it would have been easier if just at the end of the game I went back there. And then the other thing, which this makes sense, but it kind of annoys me, is once you beat the game, it's over. You can't like go back in and do stuff. Which is kind of lame because I kind of wanted to do that. And there's like a big whole, there's a couple hour long ending stuff. So you have to go all the way back before that to do stuff in the game.
Yeah.
So it was fun. It's nice, but it didn't hit all the notes for me towards the end. But still a great game. Great RPG. Solid 7, 8. I'd stay closer to an 8 than a 7. 7.5 perhaps. 7.6. It was fun, so I recommend it.
That makes it worse than what's the game we argued about because
Star Wars Outlaws.
It was bad.
I gave it a
Yes.
7. You kept trying to tell me I meant 6, but I still think it was a 7.
I think it's like
So
an
you-
8.5. That game's so fucking good.
Yeah, Star Wars Outlaws is good.
Yes, Star Wars Outlaws is so good.
It is a
I'll
great
talk about that
game.
later.
Are you fucking crazy?
No!
God.
You're crazy. You've been infected by the woke mind virus.
It's a great game that does absolutely nothing
have
new,
been
and that's
sickly.
okay.
Yes, that's fine. I haven't played all 916 Ubisoft games. I'm not a fucking reviewer who is so fucking brainwashed by playing the same fucking game. Like, well, this doesn't iterate much on the franchise. It's the first one! This is requiring you to have played all the Ubisoft fucking search 'em ups. It's its own thing. This could be baby's first video game.
That's not the argument,
Also-
Chris. I think the argument is that it does so many things and none of them are beyond mediocre at best.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Yes,
And
it
also,
is.
The
absolutely,
game does a lot of stuff very, very well.
it is the most immersive Star Wars game in a very long
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
low
will
bar
say.
to clear there, folks.
If
Low bar.
that game existed without Assassin's Creed existing, people would shit their fucking pants and lose their goddamn minds.
Yeah, that's
You know what? This is a tangent a little bit, but I don't think it's the most immersive Star Wars game in a long time. I think the Squad Star Wars mod is a fuckload more immersive.
That's
Yeah,
not
that's not a real video
that's not
game.
real.
It's not a
A
real
mod
video game.
for a game that no one has played does not count.
God, I don't know if you've played it though, but it's
I've seen
intense.
videos.
It's great. It's
Yeah.
incredible. I don't mean to go back
Anyways,
to Outlaws.
sorry, Star Wars Outlaws. So yeah, that was good. Split
Chris is
Fiction.
getting yelled at.
Chris is getting yelled at.
Oh well.
Hi.
I wrote it down.
Oh.
Vic walked in right as I was answering a Teams message, and so I was just getting all kinds of information from all directions.
Split Fiction. Karen and I streamed a little bit of this. When my fucking stream setup wasn't working, I was so pissed.
Yeah, Karen was telling me about it. Yeah.
was so apocalyptically mad. I tested everything pre-stream, started the stream. The Xbox is like, man, what if I didn't connect anymore? I'm just like, and I unpublished
This
the
was
video.
the-
I wasn't embarrassed,
Was this
but it is like 20 minutes of me just going, and Karen, like just standing
like our
there
Star
mad.
Wars stream?
Karen saying something, and I just in my head like I wanted to
Yeah.
explode, and I didn't. I was like, I wanted to tell her to leave because I'm going to get angry, and not at her,
Yeah.
but at the whole thing. So we stopped the stream.
Was
I
it-
fixed everything.
Was it just real quick? Was it the Black Magic card that you were going through, or was it Elgato?
No, it's a black magic card I'm going through, but what I think
Okay.
happened is I hit the wrong resolution for the Xbox.
Yeah.
And I think that just makes the black magic card go like fuck, like has no idea what's
Yeah.
happening. So I finally got it connected to this monitor and reset it back to 1080 and then could get it onto the card. And then I updated my SSL2 and now it has, I can, instead of manually splitting the signal, I can technically take two separate tracks out of here, mono tracks now, into OBS
Oh, that's
separately.
nice.
And so I did that and I tested it, sounded great. And then yes, Chris, question.
This has nothing to do with Split Fiction, Your Honor.
This is the streaming of Split Fiction.
It's split audio.
It's split audio. And then
Split
during
audio,
the
nice.
stream, it was just echoing the whole time, even though it's two lav mics next to each other into the same thing. It shouldn't be echoing that. Great. So
yeah,
I
there
eventually
shouldn't be a
just
time
grabbed this
diff.
mic, cranked the gain up, and just put it between us. That to say, Split Fiction feels like all the leftover ideas from It Takes Two with a really bad story tying it together.
You don't like it? Is that what I'm hearing?
It's the gameplay and the puzzles are really fun, but the story is not fun.
Oh, okay. That's what I've heard. Yeah.
The buildup of the the problem is the situation in It Takes Two made so much sense because it was a separated couple who was about to get divorced. And the reason you can see they kind of like each other, but they're still really fed up with each other, angry at each other at times, but there's still that underlying love or connection with them because they've known each other for a really long time. And in this game, the one character's super cheery happy, the other one's don't talk to me, and rude about it. And it's just if these were two people who have never met each other, they probably wouldn't be acting this way, and if they were acting this way, they wouldn't somehow come together and do just this could happen, but the writing and what was happening just wasn't connecting at all with these characters. So, and plus the villain setup makes zero sense either, for his reactions to things. His reactions to things are at 10, where the whole situation that is happening is at a solid 7. Buddy, you he's saying solutions to things where just murdering these two women would be easier and cleaner than the things you're saying. So I'm like,
There we go.
I was just like
Will
really confused.
murdering women.
Because like
Wow.
these two girls are stuck inside your machine and ruining it, and you're like yelling and breaking ties with like a group of people, investors who are trying to pull you out of the company or something. I don't know. It's just so weird. But the side stories are really cute. So they're two fiction writers stuck in a bubble that makes their stories come to life. One is fantasy, one sci-fi. So one level is a whole fantasy world with sci-fi side stories. And then the other one is sci-fi main world with fantasy side stories. And those side stories are probably the best part of the game. There's one about being pigs, and then you eventually turn into hot dogs. There's one about going to the dentist that was terrifying. It was like, it had teeth drilling. It was awful. There's this whole dragon thing. And so that part is really fun. It's just the glue, but like as soon as like the cutscene started up, it's like, oh, time to check my phone and like get ready for the next thing. It had some really predictable emotional beats that hit okay. The acting was actually quite good in a lot of these scenes, so like they hit pretty well, but it's just like you could call it from a mile away. It just seemed like they had a lot of leftover ideas, and then we're like, we need something to put these all together. So still fun gameplay. Story's a little lackluster. Also, it felt like all of the gameplay like allusions they made were to like game of the year games, because there was like a section that's clearly like Hades, Baldur's Gate, where it does like the isometric, or like Diablo. There's a like sort of Dead Space sort of section. There's just a bunch of things where I'm like, if I sat down, I could probably map everything to a couple games and find some sort of pattern. But there was a second there where I was like, did he make levels based on every game that's like one game of the year at the Game Awards or something? But
you think that's like a reference to It Takes Two winning game of the year or something like that?
That's what I was thinking. It's like, because I can't, obviously, I unfortunately can't think of the other one that was a big one that I thought of earlier. But I'll go back and think about it. But it would be funny if he ended up doing that and making them all similar. It would be weird.
Yeah.
And then finally, it's good. And plus the whole like buy one copy for you and another person is great.
I mean, no one's doing it like Hazelight. They're they really set a standard for co-op games. And the thing about them is they don't really make bad games. Like they just kind of only make good games. Yeah. There's also a radio you can find that's playing the like fuck the Oscars part at Game Awards, which is always so great. Man will milk that for the rest of his life. Oh, why? He should. Yeah, true. And then finally, fresh out today, Armored Core Solitude. No, Assassin's Creed. What about DEI? What's Assassin's DEI? Creed Shadows. DEI. I'm not gonna talk. I've only started DEI. I'm trying to cut my section down a little bit here. What is it about? It's about hell. 7 Circles of Hell.
Dante's Inferno.
Yeah.
Is the acronym accurate?
No, it's DI, but I wanted to put an E in there.
Oh, okay.
Dante's
so
Inferno.
You're playing like the what do you call it? The DMC style game?
Yeah, it's fucking fantastic and disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting.
Wait till you get to the titties. The grossest titties in the
It opens with the man sewing a cross onto his chest. It's awful.
So I shouldn't play this on the plane then?
No, but we should totally play this for Sunday Service Season 2.
Yes!
We should definitely play the entire video game.
I have to shout out the chat. Next half of the chat says the 7 Circles, also known as the Dallas-Fort Worth area. That's so good.
Yeah, that airport sucks.
Yes.
Assassin's Creed Shadows came out today. I did the old Ian Gibson trick of paying for a month of Ubisoft Plus and immediately downloading the deluxe version of this game.
I'll be doing the same thing after the stream.
You should do it. It's like 100 and something gigs, which is crazy. But I will say, This game is great. I've played about 4 hours, and I have to keep. The only time I remember it's an Assassin's Creed game is when I do the like view dive into the hay bale, and it makes the little sound. That's the only time I remember it's a Assassin's Creed game. Not that anything else wouldn't remind you, but it just feels like a nice open world like Japan game. It's very fun. It looks gorgeous, stunning. The opening is,
I'm like, holy fuck.
Yeah, the opening's a little slow.
What are you playing it on Xbox?
Yeah, Series X. I put it on performance mode. It's 60 pretty much everywhere except your hideout. It is like 24 frames or something. It's probably not that low.
I don't mean to go backwards, but Avowed does not run good on the console. It's like
I've heard that from a lot of people actually.
It's like 30. It's like a solid 30. And
I've heard
going
that
from
on
that
computer as well. I've heard that not just on
PC's fine. PC's fine. It actually runs really like I was a solid 64K on the PC. I mean, I have a fairly beefy PC, but some games I can't handle that. And then I go to Xbox Series X and it's like 30. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, like 30 stuttery. But I've heard Shadows is like 40 solid. It's either 30 or 40 solid.
Well, allegedly, according to them, I don't know if it's true or not, one of their delays was to increase the optimization.
Yeah.
I would just say, because you're playing it digitally, I have heard Gersman posted about this. He's been playing it and he was playing it on his PS5 Pro and he's like, yeah, this looks pretty good on the PS5 Pro. And then he played it on the PC and he was like, holy shit, this looks so much better on the PC. Like apparently the lighting and everything just looks 10 times better on the PC. So you may want to try that. Not that it looks bad on the console, but this feels like one of those games where there's actually a noticeable difference between the console and the PC version if you want to give that a shot.
Yeah, I don't care enough to do that, but
that's fair.
I'm playing on performance mode anyways, which is what I did with Avowed. And to my eye, Avowed ran 60 on performance mode, maybe it didn't. And then Shadows seems to be 60. Again, only in that area. It's like low frame. It's not that low. I'm just exaggerating it, but it's just like noticeably you're like, oh, what happened to this game? But overall, super fun. There's a brief section in the opening you play as Yasuke, who's the black samurai that everyone's freaking out about. Positively, I've heard. And there's a short section with him where you're playing samurai, and that's pretty fun. And then you switch to Naue, I think is her name, who is the shinobi lady.
Name is Yasuke, though.
Yasuke, that's what it is. Thank you. And it's fun. She is just an assassin like Assassin's Creed, sneaking around. You're katanaing people, you're assassinating people, and you're running around these cool Japanese villages. The map is really neat. It feels good. The stealth is fun. You can go crouchy, or you can go prone and crawl through grass. And then
it's prony.
Please,
prony.
And I know. Overall, I've just really been enjoying it. I'm a little ways into the story, running around, exploring the area, and having a fun time. It is, that's about it.
I do have one concern. I'm hoping you can answer this for me. So, I have been dabbling in the recent Assassin's Creed. The last one I played was Odyssey. I played maybe 6 or 7 hours of it, and I was enjoying it. But the problem I had was once you get to the, hey, these are the guys you're going after, go get them, it turns into like it's the same 3 area types over and over again, and the missions become repetitive. It's just go here, do one of the 3 different mission types. I'm worried if Shadows does that as well. I've only heard one person say it has repetitive missions. Have you played enough to be able to tell if the main missions get repetitive, or does it feel like there's enough variety there?
So I've been doing sub missions so there's like a bunch of circle of people you got to go kill. And I have 2 of those people unlocked. First of all, with most of I don't know if it's just those missions or every mission, but you have, the mission starts and it doesn't tell you where it is. It tells you 3 hints to where it is. And then you can either go look for it yourself, which is what I've been doing because it's kind of fun, or you can spend your scouts that are at your hideout and they will narrow it down for you. You get your scouts refresh every season. Seasons change everything. The seasons change. So I started the game in winter, and now it's spring, and actually it might be summer now. I don't know what governs the changing of seasons. I just finished a mission, and then it suddenly was summer or spring or whatever it became. There are all of these missions spots that are memory missions, which are really neat, because you're just like going back in time, because you kind of start as already a pretty good shinobi. So the memory missions are you becoming a shinobi, which feel like they were originally the missions where you learned how to use certain items, and then they said we want players to start with all of the items, so they just switch those missions into like memory missions. You know what I mean?
But are they still like pseudo tutorials where it's like you already have this, but here's a mission to kind of teach you the intricacies of it?
The last one I did started off with you getting the grappling hook, and the guy's like, you gotta go over here and use a grappling hook to get in there. And I only
you're 100% right then.
yeah. So it just feels like that's what they did, but the mission not at all forced me to use a grappling hook. So I feel like it was that, and then they kind of toned them back. So those are fun and neat. From what I can tell, they are in an order, and it doesn't matter which memory spot on the map you go to, you just get the next one. Because I had a mission that referenced the previous one, and I said to myself, there's no way I went to 2 of these in the correct sequence, starting with the very first one and then the second one. There's just no way. So I think that's what it's doing. But the missions for the guys I have to assassinate, there's 3 for each, similar to what I said, where you have to find something. But the one lady I'm doing right now, I had to steal trade contracts, then pose at a tea house as a contract tea tradesman, and then I had to learn how to do a tea ceremony, and now I am in the progress of doing a tea ceremony with the tea trader for Nobunaga.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And
Nobunaga.
so doing that, and then the other mission for this other guy, I'm doing completely different things. So I think for those main 9 people, however many it is, I think those submissions are all different. They're like your little like, I don't know, hitman things to get prepared to then go kill them. I don't know if
that's nice.
I don't know if the other missions, like generic, there are a bunch of like, hey, do these missions to earn extra supplies for your hideout, and those seem like eliminate target, eavesdrop on
more
these
generic
people.
ones.
So
Gotcha.
that could be what people are complaining about. But so far, it's been fun exploring the map, climbing up to the like vantage points is fun. It just feels.
What's the map? Is it all of Japan, or is it just a portion of it?
Seems like a portion of Japan. It doesn't let you zoom out that far on the map.
It's I forget the name of the region, but it's like a region that was like part of like one of the Japanese like military quarantines, where it was like you're not allowed to exit or enter this area.
Oh, is it like around Kyoto?
No clue.
Yeah,
but it's during that war where Oda Nobunaga like took the all Japan over.
I was in Osaka and Sakatai. Not Sakatai. Okay. That's from Indiana Jones. Sakai. Sakai.
Sakai, yeah.
This game has AI in it?
Yeah, can you believe that? So overall, I'm enjoying it.
Sounds great.
Also,
we'll see what.
Ian.
We'll see.
Fuck.
We'll see how much longer I play it.
It's got it's sitting at like an 82-ish on OpenCritic right now. How you feel about that?
I would give it an 82. I'm enjoying it a lot. I only played Odyssey recently, and I just played Assassin's Creed 1 and 2 like last year, and I am really enjoying this. I think it's a great game. It's not hitting you with that like Assassin's Creed Origins is the one I played. It's not hitting you with that Origins like here's your tiers of loot and hitting all that out the gate. There are some like battle pass
Origins
and you're like
good,
earning
though.
currencies and stuff that I'm not quite like I haven't gone to look at, but overall it's been a blast. Plus the DLC armor that you get is good for a little bit, and then you can upgrade to other armor. I was like really afraid that was going to be like the super good stuff, but they mostly give it to you because you can do the apply any cosmetic to an item sort of thing.
Cool.
which people love. So
Yeah,
Assassin's
totally
Creed
good.
Shadows, I'm enjoying so far. Oh, I'm playing in English. I was gonna do the immersive Japanese and Portuguese, but Alex Navarro at Nextlander said they're both equally terrible. And the English one is really there's some of these. It just sounds like I'm assuming
Careful.
it's French voice actors, but they are doing an a Japanese English speaking English accent, but sometimes it slips into like a French accent. It's
Jesus.
it's
Like a French Canadian accent.
it's like if they were to say, and they're like hard pronouncing L's as R's. So they're like hero, but then they're like adding French to it. So it's like hero. And it's just like,
oh my god!
it's like so
it sounds like you
weird.
should go to the Japanese Portuguese because it may be less obvious that it's bad.
it is. And there are a couple of them where I'm like, I don't want to, it just sounds like you had any one of us sit down and be like, hey, do a Japanese accent and speak in English. And it just sounds like that. And it's like,
I'll
shit.
report it next time on a local chat because I'm very excited to hear this nonsense. This
Yeah.
sounds terrible.
God.
And again, some of them are fine or just like lighter
Right.
and stuff like that. But then I just come across some where they're like really, really kind of bad about it. And I'm like, who'd you get to do this, bud? Because they're terrible. But it's mostly because I would say that even if they got like French Asian actors, it's the French part that keeps coming back a little bit. And you're just like, what's going, like, it's like that.
Like most
going on
things,
here?
you can blame the French for it.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I didn't, for a mediocre Japanese Portuguese, I didn't want to have to constantly look at the screen and read it. I was like, I'd rather listen.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
I'm not playing some game made in
you're
Japan
skipping
that's
you're
in
skipping all the
Japanese.
cutscenes anyways. Right?
Actually,
You're
this
skipping all the
one,
cutscenes.
I hit A, it ain't skipping shit. So I'm watching it all, baby.
Oh, you have to watch it. Fuck
I'm
that.
forced-
No way.
Born to
no
watch,
fucking
forced
way
to
you have
sit.
to watch them.
There might be. I just hit A a couple times and nothing happens.
I played all the Assassin's Creeds minus Mirage in the last year and a half. You can skip cutscenes in like over half of them. There's no way.
I'm sure if I hit start, it'll flash like hold start.
Yeah.
But I haven't, to be honest, Ian, I haven't felt the need to skip any cutscenes yet.
Hey, I didn't skip much of anything through Origins and Odyssey, and man, those got a lot of cutscenes. I skipped the fuck out of shit in Valhalla because I was like, nope, not having it.
Yeah.
And I don't have any magic. I don't have a hawk yet, and I don't have magic arrows. So far, great game.
Man, I did. You know, in Origins and Odyssey, I did like the hawk and the magic arrow because it was just like, yeah, I want this game to be easy. I want this to be fun, easy. And
I
just
liked
doing
the
that was
hawk
cool.
okay. I didn't love the magic arrow.
It was just like, so I'm tempted to. Jeff Gershman's been playing this, and he started out by bitching because this game, the way they do their loot tiers or whatever, he's colorblind and their accessibility options are shit. So he's like, I
Really?
can't play. He's like, I can't really play this game because it's fucked with my colorblindness and I can't fix it in the settings. So he just put everything on easy, and he's like, and I'm just tearing through this game now, and I'm like, fuck, I should do that. Sounds like fun, you know, just to drop it to easy. And
Yeah.
That's pretty fun when you do that.
It's funny. I had had that thought the other day, and I've been meaning to make games a little more challenging lately because I feel like I've been breezing through a lot of games that are meant to be a little bit harder. So, but I do really enjoy the combat in this game. Well, no,
We're old.
No,
We've earned
it's
it.
not about that. I've noticed about myself, I derive a lot more enjoyment if things take like if I'm working at something versus like obviously when there's a game I want to run around and kill
You're into BDSM.
bunch of
you like to be
things.
punished.
You
You should watch Sallow.
But no, it's the same reason like Elden Ring's fun or Dark Souls is fun. Like there's that
Yeah, they're not
challenge.
fun.
Well, not for people
at
who
least-
are bad at them.
But I will say,
It's a
I will
sense of
say,
pride and
seriously though,
accomplishment.
that's a good challenge because it's been crafted to be a good challenge and rewarding in a way, and it's a challenge where you have to prove yourself. But then there are games that are just like difficult, but poorly made difficulty.
Yeah.
you know. And for those ones, I'm just like, crank it down. Just let me have fun over here.
Yeah, I'm just saying in Assassin's Creed Shadows, I've found the combat fun enough that I haven't felt I've died in fights and gone back
That's
and then
good.
beat the fight. And I'm not talking
That's
about
good.
like boss fights. It's just like I stumbled into the wrong village and I shouldn't be here, and these guys are 3 levels ahead of me. Like, and I've had to
Yeah.
block and do all that sort of stuff. So it's it's a
Gotcha.
fun time. So
Pretty shocked about the accessibility stuff, considering we all played Outlaws, which has like the most in-depth accessibility menu I've seen in my entire fucking life.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's weird. I wonder if it's not in the Assassin's. Well, is this a new engine for the Assassins of Creed?
It'd be the same engine that
Yeah.
Outlaws
think
is built
so.
in.
No, Outlaws is
Oh, it's-
Snowdrop, isn't it?
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's
That's why the wind
Division.
looks so fucking good.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Speaking about looking good, Chris, I have also played this game. It is a Chris-ass title. What game is it?
It's a game about digging a hole, Will. It's like $5 on Steam.
It's
called a game
true.
about digging a hole.
How's your
You know what you
hole?
do in this game? It's big. You know what you do in this game? You dig a hole because there's buried treasure underneath your house. I didn't like this game very much.
Yeah, it was kind of okay.
It was fine.
I haven't played it, but hearing everybody talk about it, and they're like, yeah, it's good, and then they start talking about the details, and you're like, so it really is just a game of digging in a hole. It's not doing
Yep.
anything. It's doing that very well, but it's not doing anything crazy or exciting or different. It's just that done well, and I'm like,
Here's
okay, I don't think I need to play that.
the thing
you
about
know?
a game about digging a hole. It's really all you do is dig the hole. So
Yeah.
It was a
dig
fun
hole.
3 hours.
Hey, yeah,
Yeah.
I beat it in 2 hours and 25 minutes, some shit like that. And I did a little bit of the extra stuff. So, that's pretty good. Here's, I think, the biggest problem with this game is that I paid for it on Steam and not on itch.io. Because if I paid for it on itch, I'd be like, yeah, let's go to some fucking like 19-year-old who made this in a weekend. Fuck yeah, party on, kid. But I paid for it on Steam, which makes me go, if I beat it 20 minutes earlier, I could have refunded it. It's fine. It's fun. If you want to do something for about 3 hours, you'll enjoy the experience. The ending is dumb, but do you care? Do you care that the ending is dumb?
No.
A game about building digging
It was a pretty good ending.
Don't agree.
It's the best ending in a
That's-
video game in 30 years.
Another game about that's its title is very descriptive. Monster Hunter. Been playing Monster Hunter Wilds. Hey, if you enjoy Monster Hunter games, you will love this. If you don't like Monster Hunter games, do not play this.
see, that's a little confusing to me, and the reason why is hearing people talk about it. My understanding is that there are now 2 different Monster Hunter games. There is the World for the casuals, and there's the more hardcore under Rise.
Yes.
And this game is even more casual than World.
I don't know if I'd call it
So-
more casual than World. They're definitely the main thing about the World, if you want to call them the World game, so World and Wilds, the W's, is that they strip back a lot of like the advanced like prep and logistics you have to put into hunts, particularly later stage hunts, to make it just more accessible and more of a game you can play through the story of and have gotten the experience than if you want to go and do they're called high ranks, but the high rank hunts where things are more in depth and advanced, then you can go do that. I don't know. I just here's the thing. I totally get if you play the demo and like, oh, I don't like the gameplay loop. I don't like that. It's just like, you have a 14-ish combos that you do kind of in loop and to attack the monster. And if you don't like that, like I totally get that. Just don't play these games. Like that's what the game is. That's what it's about. So if you don't like it, you don't like it. But like I don't get from like the Monster Hunter fan perspective how you can really complain about this game. This is like this is the AAA version of your video game. Games have to be a certain way to be more broadly appealing so that more people play them. That's how things work. There's a reason like all of the Souls games pretty much have the same gameplay loop. It's because that's what people are familiar with, and if you change it too much, they don't like that. That's why Sekiro performed the worst out of all the Souls-like games, because it's the most different. I mean, the game's great. It looks fucking gorgeous if you're on max settings. However, this game runs like booty ass.
That's what I've heard. Yeah,
and if you're trying to stream it, I can play this on ultra because I have a fucking very good graphics card. I forget what it is because my brain's not working right now.
1080.
No, 4080, 4070, whatever the fuck I have, 4080 Super.
Wow.
And I can run on Ultra. To stream it, I had to bump it down to the second lowest quality to get this bitch to run at 30 frames a second, not even 60.
Damn.
Jeez.
What happened, Japan?
Isn't this the RE engine?
Yes, I believe it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it is.
So maybe that's the problem, is that, hey, that works great in small spaces, but when you try
yeah,
to open it up
and
a bit.
Oh mama, are these maps big?
Yeah.
Mama.
Yeah, the game's super good. If you like Monster Hunter, you're doing yourself a disservice to not play it. If you're interested in the franchise, I would say give it a whirl. It's fucking cool, and it looks great, and it's fun, and you get to kill monsters. And I actually think the Monster Hunter setting is interesting. It's a very unique setting in which we have guns, but we live like a nomadic tribal lifestyle. but we're able to like fully industrialize as long as it involves killing monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an awesome concept. It's just like we're very primitive, except in the killing monsters business, where we are as advanced as humanly possible. Overwatch 2. Did I talk about this on this thing already? So Overwatch 2.
Maybe.
I don't think so.
I'll be brief. I have shit talked Overwatch for years, so this is me eating a little bit of crow. So Marvel Rivals came out and became the most popular video game in the world overnight. And Overwatch went, because they took all their money. And if there's one thing Activision Blizzard likes, it's money. So they decided to get off their hot little asses for the first time in a long time and actually work on Overwatch to try to drag people back. And they basically did a variety of big changes. One being bring back 6v6 for all you nostalgia people out there, because Overwatch is 12 years old. Holy shit.
Wow.
Yep. And the other one is they introduced in the regular 5v5 game. Is that
10
years old?
What 2013, right?
10 years.
It did not. Yeah, it didn't come out in 2013. I know.
I could have sworn it did. Anyway, 2015. 10 years. Great. A whole decade. This thing's in fifth grade.
It's just funny because you're like, they fixed Overwatch 2. All they had to do was just roll back the shit changes they made for Overwatch 2.
Actually, no. They did. That is now a game mode you can play as 6v6, but the primary game is still 5v5. So 5v5 still locked to rolls. What they did was, first of all, they did a fuckload of balance changes, which is great. That game desperately needs it all the time. That game has terrible balance. But they also did this thing called perks. So as you're playing through the game now, you're playing through a round of Overwatch, you're building an XP bar. If you deal damage, it goes up. If you heal, it goes up. If you go on the objective, it goes up. As long as you play the game good, you will get the XP bar. It'll fill up. Every time you fill that up, which is you can do it twice, you get to pick a perk, which modifies one of your abilities in a pretty fundamental way. I think under the technical definition of MOBA, it was always a MOBA. No, it's
I do kind of like this idea though.
I'm trying to think what it's more similar to. It's not similar to MOBA, because in a MOBA, it's like you're leveling up the ability to make it stronger. That's not what this is. This is more like it's changing something about the ability to make it fundamentally different to suit your playstyle.
Yeah.
So
but
for example,
that's like getting skills. Like Heroes of the Storm did that, where you would go through a skill tree.
It's almost like yes, you have a very limited skill tree you can access twice.
Yeah.
And it's usually like the first perk is a small but nice thing, and the second perk is like gonna pretty much change your playstyle on this character for the rest of the game. And the nice thing about this is that it doesn't carry over if you switch characters. So say you're playing Mercy, the lady who flies around and heals, and you get all the way to level 3, which is the max level. And if you switch to Ana, who's the sniper healer lady, you are at level 1. So it de-incentivizes people hot swapping characters to counter pick whatever you just picked.
But was that a problem? Because for me, that always feels like a great mechanic in a game, is that the roster's not set, so you're having to constantly it can get out of control, But
yes, I agree.
think
But there's good things around this system. First of all, the swapping is a big problem, particularly in higher level play. People do it and they're really obnoxious about it. And it's just like constant. Every time someone dies, they're back as a different character to counter what you just picked. It's really annoying.
yeah, I can see that.
However, the longer the game goes on, the faster you do build those meters. So if you switch to someone late game,
That's nice.
and it's like if you go in and you get like 4 kills right off the bat, you're gonna pop a level, and then you're making your way back. It's a really good system. It incentivizes you to play one character through the whole game, but it leaves you with the option to switch if need be. It just basically means that, like, if you're gonna switch, you need to commit to that switch. And you can't be a little bitch about it.
That's cool.
Yeah, overall, I mean, I'm really impressed with the changes. I've been critical of Overwatch for a very long time. I think they took a golden goose and did fuck all with it. And I've accused it of having the worst balance of any major video game, which I still think might be true. Although it's quite well balanced right now.
Awesome. Nice. That's good to hear. It's good to hear they're kind of correcting the ship after
this is the class. Like, competition's good for everyone involved. Like, Marvel Rivals comes out, it takes everyone's money away. League of Legends and Fortnite and Overwatch go, and then they, I mean, Fortnite's kind of its own beast at this point, where it doesn't really compete with anything because it's kind of got its own cornerstone. It killed all the other battle royales, so like, who cares?
Yeah,
but yeah. And the last thing I just thought you two, I find this interesting. Old school RuneScape, and it launched its first new skill. So the first like new skill in the game since the original rollback, the 2014 rollback. It passed a poll last year. It beat out 2 others. It is sailing. You can now sail boats in RuneScape. The alpha for it launched today, which just lets you go to level 30 as like they're testing out the mechanics. I played about 25ish minutes of it before I had to hop on the stream. So super solid. It's a very tricky thing to make new content feel old, and not feel like too modern and breezy. It has a bit of that. There's a bit of things where I'm like, that's a bit too slick. Like that it's weird because like you shouldn't say that works too well, but it in RuneScape that kind of does pull you out of it because the game has this clunky style of like right clicking shit to move around, stuff like that. And yeah, overall, it's very good. I'm very impressed with the old school RuneScape team. I think has been pretty consistently hasn't made a mistake in like 4 years development wise. I mean, they've made like small mistakes, but like stuff that's patchable. Like, we fucked up some numbers. Like not content being bad. And this is something. I mean, very similar to World of Warcraft doing Seasons of Discovery. I hope more games that are adopting this kind of model of letting the players have a lot more agency in what comes to the game as terms of updates. I hope this continues. I'm curious to see what else they are willing to do in terms of adding skills. I just really love the idea of taking an old game like a WoW or RuneScape and being like, okay, this is like the core, block of things you have, call it 20 things. Add 21st thing, 2 decades after the game got its last big fucking honking update.
Yep.
That's wild.
That's awesome.
So wait, how does sailing work?
So sailing is a skill, just like how like mining or agility or thieving is a skill. And you got to do like an introductory quest to unlock it, which like a couple skills have that. And then like you get your starter boat. And then there's a variety of sailing activities you can do to level up your sailing skill. So you can run packages, you can explore, you can do piracy, you can salvage ships, you can fish, obviously. There's like sea races you can do, and all that gives you sailing experience, and sailing experience lets you do more stuff. That's the classic RuneScape formula. You level up to do more of the same stuff, but in a bigger scale. And it also gives you access to bigger boats. And then more boat customization options. And one small thing I like about it is that you basically have like 4 technically, but 3 classes of boats. You have like small, medium, big. Then you have like a little like a dinghy, but like that's not really mainly used. And it's like you are going to want to outfit them with different things for different tasks, but it isn't like you unlock small, medium, and then big. It's like you unlock small, you unlock medium, you unlock big, but then as you continue going, you unlock like, this kind of sail, which is good on small, this kind of rudder, which is going to be good on big, this kind of thing, which is going to be good on medium. And it's like they keep feeding into each other, and then you get like mix and match stuff, which is nice.
Can you travel sailing now? Or
yes, so you can travel. They add. I forgot that. I think it's like I think it was like 102 ports you can, like docks basically. You can get to. I mean, RuneScape's map is fucking huge, so like, it's a lot.
That's cool.
And not all of them are like the most useful thing in the world, but it's like there's a dock here, or this is like a point of interest. There should be a fucking space to get off your boat here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure in reality, 30 of them will be like actually useful, but like, they also added a shitload of stuff to the map. Like they expanded the map a lot, and they used a bunch of community recommendations for islands and stuff like that, which is cool.
Damn.
Sounds
Man,
cool.
I always want to get back into RuneScape. I played so much in like 4th and 5th grade. I played so much fucking RuneScape. And
It's a fascinating game. It really is. It's interesting that a nostalgia game can come back and become more successful than it ever was prior to the nostalgia.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I think my core nostalgia game that I go back to still is either World of Warcraft, which I played way less of as a kid, or Elder Scrolls Oblivion. I'll just go play that because that game's so good. So that's my RuneScape.
One day I'll play all of WoW. It'll happen.
I've
Never
been
touched
slowly playing through it. They added that like you can play the old campaigns, like rewind the.
That's how I'll play it too.
I've been playing. I've been playing the second expansion, Burning Crusade, and I'm like, it just like resets to the world was back then. It's really neat. So yeah. That was a while ago. Folks, we added a new section here to the lovely local chat, and that is called the discussion topic section. This week, we'll be tackling the heavy topic of forgotten games you love. Forgotten games you love. Those are games that are forgotten and that you probably love. We're going to have some games on those lists. These probably aren't going to be games that you have forgotten and you probably don't love them. But most people have forgotten them, and particularly the people saying the games do love them. So, fuck off.
I fucking hate you.
I just want to make
intro.
sure. I just want to make sure that someone
Killer.
doesn't say like something, and then they're like, "Oh, that's not forgotten." There's a community of 8 trolls who play that every weekend.
You forgot.
What?
Nobody watches our content. We don't have to worry about that.
I know, but Bench Dude's going to be in here next week, 2 weeks, complaining.
What about the Squad Star Wars mod? Is that on here?
Yeah, it's so forgotten.
I'll
need to
be
play
right back.
more of
One
that.
second.
The first game I'm going to be saying is Fortnite. Just everyone's forgotten about Fortnite, and they should be playing it. Ian, you want to start us off with your games?
Yeah, so I kind of, for some reason, when you said this, I was thinking of categories of genres. Like instead of,
I like that.
the first thing that popped in my head was not like necessarily specific games, but like they don't make those types of games anymore. Or like, hey, that was a unique game, and there hasn't been something back. And one of them is Ace of Spades, which was an indie game first, and then it got bought by Jagex, turned into something else, but still lives on as Build and Shoot. I've talked about this before on the site. I think I've even done a video about it. This is basically a voxel-based first-person shooter. It looks like Minecraft, but uglier. But what's really, really cool about it is that it's a multiplayer FPS, but you also have the ability to build and dig in the map. So it's basically like rudimentary maps with like little hills, or one of them is just like a small like World War I type map where there's just, an open, no man's land in between you. But as you're playing the FPS, you're modifying the landscape. So if you throw a grenade, it'll blow a hole in the ground. Or what I like to do is I'll go towards the enemy, and then I'll dig a little hole in the ground, and I'll dig horizontally and pop it so that I have a 1x1 block like slit in the ground that I can then shoot at them from, like, or I'll dig my own trench, or somebody will always dig a tunnel all the way down, all the way across the map, and then pop up behind the enemy. So it's one of those things where it's not an FPS. I mean, it is an FPS, but it's not just an FPS. It's not just an FPS with destructible buildings or environments. It has an element of building and construction along with it. And another great example of this is Source Fort, which was a Half-Life 2 mod. Do you ever play Source Fort, Will?
No, I have not.
So Source Fort, it was relatively short-lived. I played it for a little bit, and it was really fun. But the whole premise is that it's basically It's basically capture the flag inside of Half-Life 2 deathmatch. So it's capture the flag inside Half-Life 2, but everybody also has a gravity gun. And the first 5 minutes of each round, you're not allowed to cross the center of the map to go to the other side. So the first 5 minutes is not about combat. It's all about grabbing the materials around you and building your fort up. So your base starts out as open, but the first 5 minutes of the match is everybody running around with their gravity gun, grabbing like pieces of metal and sheet metal and stuff, and trying to like put them in place and weld them together to build, you know, a defensive structure around your base. And then once the match starts, you know, it's not just a normal capture the flag. You can continue to build if you want to, or you can go to the enemy base and use like some sort of destruction tool, and you have to sit there for like 5-10 seconds, but you can destroy their pieces and get in through their infrastructure. So that's the thing that I really miss, are those shooters or competitive multiplayer games that have a like really good building, construction, destructive aspect to them. Like they should really bring that back. Like that tech was there and it was working. And if you brought that back, especially with modern tech, it's not just the building gets destroyed. It's also give me the ability to really dynamically build what I want to, whether it's digging my own trenches or building my own fortifications.
Yeah,
that's what I miss.
To add to that, as an aside, you remind me, I really miss the destructibility of Bad Company in Battlefield games.
Yeah.
That was so, and it had its limitations, but it was so good, and it felt crazy. Like you'd be in a building and stuff would be raining down on you, and you'd be like, "Oh, this building's groaning. I got to get out of here because it's about to collapse." And I remember when Battlefield 4 came out, or 3, and it didn't have any of that, and I was like, "Game is not fun."
And even when they added it back, it was just like, oh, this building has taken enough damage to collapse. It wasn't.
And now it's a big like cinematic
holes.
moment as opposed to like, you know, a dynamic thing going on throughout the game.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and it's not punching mouse holes into a wall so you can shoot through a little bit of it.
Yeah.
You know,
what was the
ruined it.
What was the red gorilla?
Oh,
Red
yeah.
Faction.
Red Faction. Gorilla.
Red Faction.
Red Faction had an element of that. It didn't have the building element, but it had. But a lot of the surfaces in a game would be destructible.
Yeah.
And so you could dig a tunnel with a rocket launcher, basically. That game had it great. That's what I miss. Destructible, constructible first-person shooters.
Does anyone remember the trademark term that I believe Dice got for that?
Levolution.
Levolution.
I was gonna say playstruction.
It's actually like it's an awesome name that's stupid.
Yeah.
Chris, you want to hit us with one of your forgotten games you love?
Yeah. I'll talk about the more obscure one. I think Eternal Darkness. You guys remember this for the GameCube?
This is the horror camera game, right?
No.
You're taking
thinking,
pictures.
No, that's Fatal Frame.
Oh, okay. Then tell me about Eternal Darkness.
No, Eternal Darkness is Willie. Is a, I don't know, I guess a Resident Evil like is the best thing. It's a little more complicated than that. That is like it's basically Call of Cthulhu inspired. You play through a connection of people. To call them a family is a generous term, I think, but like a loose connection of people throughout a wide variety of time periods, going from like 8,000 BC ish to like the 90s. And like, you know, there's like you'll play as like a monk in like the 600s, and you'll play as a explorer in the 1100s and shit like that. And basically they're all bound by, they all at one point possess what is ostensibly the Necronomicon. And like you are sort of filling out the story of how it gets from one person to the next. Which leads to this ultimate thing of like, you know, you go to the underground city of, you know, Relay or equivalent, and you got to stop the Call of Cthulhu from happening. But the game it's basically like a Resident Evil fixed camera walk around kind of thing. There's zombies and stuff to fight. You cast runic spells using like the Cthulhu language, and you actually have to like draw them out.
That's cool.
They have like names, and like you have to like remember like this means power,
Bob.
and this means fire, and this means
David.
This means kiss.
Sally.
And another super cool thing this game did, which was awesome, was it fucked with you. it would do stuff like they built stuff in where it was like you walked into a room and it would act like your PlayStation 2 crashed.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
It had one that would mimic. It doesn't work anymore because TVs don't look like this anymore. But it would mimic like your channel is changing, like you're getting off the AV and onto regular cable.
It had one. Wow. There were a couple where it like flip controls.
Yeah, it would flip the screen too. It had a bunch of simpler ones. My favorite though was it would move your save file, which is so awesome.
That's fucked up. It's funny, Chris. I literally almost grabbed this game to talk about as well because I've never finished it. I played a little bit in college.
That honestly, that's a great, particularly sub-pixel stream. That's a great stream game.
Ooh,
Spooky Pixel.
It's relatively quick too. It's not like I think it's like I'm gonna guess like 12 hours max. That's probably not that long.
Spooky Pixel in theming. I don't remember it being quite an actual scary game.
There's a few moments that are like, oh Jesus, but most of it's like you walk into a room and there's a guy who's gonna get you and you're like, fuck.
But not scary in the modern sense of a horror game.
It's scary in the way Resident Evil 2 and 3 are scary.
Yeah,
it's like I wouldn't call those horror. It's sort of a horror. It's all horror.
Yeah. Sweet. Eternal Darkness. Let me grab one of mine going off of what Ian was saying actually in genres of games. I miss shitty movie games. Like shitty adequate movie tie-in games. Movie tie-in games. It's funny, Astro Goblin's been playing a lot of them lately because they're pretty shitty, but they're adequate. And it's just like,
god, that fucking Narnia one.
The Narnia one. It's just, there were so many of these. I think I was sorting my games today. I had the Italian Job game, and a couple others.
Why would that have gotten a tie-in? Like, what were they thinking?
I don't know. Just race Mini Coopers around. Yeah. So I miss movie tie-in games, especially like I have the Spider-Man movie tie-in game for Xbox that was great. Yeah. It had like all the movie characters, but then it also expanded into the regular Spider-Man characters. So it's just a fantastic Spider-Man game, and then all this extra content. I don't know. You guys have any favorite movie games?
The great thing about movie games was that, you know, you would get out of the movie like Incredible Hulk or something, and you would just be like, I wonder what it's like to be the Hulk, and then you would get some movie game that was not great. Some of them weren't even good, but it was good enough to satisfy the urge to be like, yeah, I'm the Hulk now, and if memory serves me correctly, most of them were not full price, were they? Or was I just getting them so far after?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
There's no way they were like $50 each.
Well, early on,
I remember one that specifically was the Star Wars Episode 3 movie tie-in game because it came out before the movie and it didn't have cutscenes. It had scenes from the movie that would play in between missions, so you could see a little bit of the movie early.
Wow, that's the same with Battlefront 2,
which I have to say is brilliant marketing.
The fucking the book, the Star Wars Episode 3 book came out before the movie came out. That is how different the times were back then for like internet culture and spoiling things. Like it was such a different world. So yeah, movie games, that is the one I miss. Sweet. No, and not the shitty mobile ones that come out probably nowadays.
That's probably what it is now. I wanted to pitch one that I think you should play, Willie. 2012's Battleship, based on the film Battleship, starring Rihanna and others, which is based on the board game Battleship,
which is based on.
Sorry, you said 2012's Battleship, and I latched onto the 2012 portion of that, and I was like,
"Oh God, I wish."
What?
Can you imagine? No. However, the video game Battleship is not a video game version of the board game Battleship. It is a first-person shooter where you fight aliens.
Hell yeah!
That's what the movie is. That's what the movie is. The movie is aliens. Yeah. I've been meaning to rewatch that movie because it was not good, but I remember watching it in theaters and being like, this is dumb enough that I think I'm kind of liking it. You know,
Rihanna is offensively attractive in that movie. So
yes, and they bring in the pegs because the aliens are shooting, and the ammo are giant pegs, and the pegs land and then blow up. And I was like,
but you see,
and then the end
they're
of
not
it,
just pegs; they like spin or some bullshit.
And then just to ruin the end of it. So the end of it is all the modern ships, the U.S. ships have been taken out, but it takes place in Hawaii, and the USS Missouri is there docked as a history ship. So they take that out, and there's a bunch of World War II veterans there, which I believe are real veterans that then man the ship as like a skeleton crew to fight them. And I was like, that's a fucking cool concept.
I don't remember this at all, but that's incredible.
That's the end of it. Yes, I need to rewatch it. It's just a wild movie.
What a nightmare.
The main character's name is Cole Mathis.
Cole Mathis.
God.
Brett Cole Mathis.
Yeah.
Ian Gibson, you want to hit us with another one?
Yeah, this is a forgotten game. You will all recognize it, but Jeff Gerstmann brought this up the other day on his podcast, and he's like, what the fuck happened? Not what the fuck happened, but remember HQ Trivia and how the entire world for a couple months was just like, let's play, like it was a timepiece moment where it was like, it's time, and the whole internet was like, we're playing this together. And I think between HQ Trivia and like 1 versus 100, like event based multiplayer games that become super popular. I'm not saying this because of your shitty ass. It's really not because of that. Like genuinely, we need more like event time based multiplayer games.
What if you could win tickets to Broadway?
You idiots.
What do you mean? It was a job. It had nothing to do with us. We got paid money.
It's not about you. It's not about you.
I know. I didn't
it's
think you put it there.
Thing.
It's just, I know. It's just funny because that was not a forgotten game for me and Chris.
I thought you put it there as a dig.
No. No.
What do you mean? We did ball playing. Will broke a monitor.
I broke that monitor. So good.
Yeah. But anyways, I
watched a video very recently about HQ Trivia and why it eventually died. The answer is that it was mostly a scam and incredible embezzling.
I could see that. Yeah.
They did one last show and they did it rogue. Like the people who worked there just said like the company's being shut down because of the lawsuits. Fuck it. We're going to all get really drunk and high and just do a last episode and
nice.
be literally be like, "Hey, we can't give you anything. There's no money. So like just do whatever you want. Who cares?"
Hell yeah. Remember Hofer? Hofer was great. Hofer was Hall of Famer. And you were guessing, it was sports trivia? Is that what it was? Or you were picking lines?
Was it just sports trivia?
It was sports. You were picking sports lines.
No.
But it was hosted by, who was the host?
Who's that guy? Everybody loved you.
But I kept picking. They would shout people out, and I learned he would shout someone out for every answer, so I would pick the least likely answer and would be the only one who would do it, so he would constantly shout out on 270.
Call you out.
And it was some sports guy.
Like, not this time on 270.
Yeah, who I can't think of his name, but he's relatively famous. And he kept saying my name. It was so good. Yeah, fuck
anyway.
Chris, please tell us about your other forgotten game, if you remember.
I don't know if this counts. Mirror's Edge. Kyle played it during Extra Life for you guys.
They remembered it. They remembered it, and then they did a sequel. And the thing is, I don't think the sequel was terrible. It was just one of those things where it's like maybe Mirror's Edge just needed to be one game, and we didn't need more.
I played Catalyst second game. Like it's good. It's the same thing. Yeah. It's like, it's a competent parkour game. I think the problem was like that's like mission based. Like you do like GTA or Assassin's Creed style like missions, and like Mirror's Edge is just a game that you play in like 4 hours where you just run like and do sweet jumps, and like that's all it needed to be. I think the reason, and it might be kind of similar to Source for it in the way that like there just really isn't a market for this kind of game. Like it's too it would cost too much money to make it, like EA, this is a fucking dice game. EA is not making a $20 game.
Yeah.
No.
Well, it was a one and done.
The other thing
game.
is that that's the thing is that
it was a proof of concept. It wasn't even supposed to be. It was like an engine test that became a game.
But I just mean it part of the reason it hits, it's a great game, but part of the reason it hits is because it's unique.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
And
that's
you can
right.
only do you can only do unique games once, so you can't really make more because then there's going to be too many of them. And I want to play a Mirror's Edge once every 4 years. That's it. No more frequent than that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And like I think honestly, you probably get a game that is that it isn't going to be a parkour first person running game. Like you get a game like that that's innovative using existing stuff with like something new. Like, you know, it's a first person game, it's about movement. That no, that's new. But the fact that it was a parkour game and it looked like Mirror's Edge was very new.
Yeah, but I mean, Neon White gets close to scratching that itch as well.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
it's like a speed parkour. Yeah. So I think,
Also,
Mirror's
this game
Edge.
still looks great for some fucking reason.
Yes, I was just about
Oh,
to
yeah,
say
it's
that. It looks
gorgeous.
fantastic.
What? Like, how did they do that?
Frostbite, baby. That
Yeah.
Frostbite engine, it's misused a lot, and I think it's fucked up a lot by art direction a lot of the time. But it's a good engine.
Turns
It's a
out
good
if you just make everything look like what's Dick Tracy, where everything like
Yeah.
there's one white, there's one fucking green, there's one yellow, makes stuff look
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
2008, hot damn.
Podcast episode name already. There's one white. Getting excited for that.
One white, one yellow.
one, one green.
That's what you said.
Yeah, Chris.
I said green first. If you switch
okay.
the order, I'm out. It's
Chris, my heart, my heart
out.
goes out to you. It really does.
My
Okay,
Tesla
I'll go
stock
through.
goes with it.
Go through my other
Jesus.
two quick. My top one, number one. This is voted by everyone at home. Number one here, Monday Night Combat.
Yes, let's go.
Game fucking rocked when it came out on the Xbox 360. It's technically a MOBA, I believe. I think it was my first ever exposure to MOBA. Sort of third person shooter. It was the first time I was ever introduced to the concept of like the game show video game where they're like shoutcasting the whole thing and
Which I
talking
always
through
love.
it. And it was just a fun game show vibe. I just remember spending a lot of time playing this. So Monday Night Combat. I know they made a Super Monday Night Combat, which was the sequel, which I believe was more MOBA-y. I never played that one. But
And
I
then
played,
Deadlock, which is even more MOBA-y.
Oh, okay. But yeah, Monday Night Combat, I remember being super fun. And just had an exquisite art style of like the game show with like here are the sponsors and all. Just played it
Yeah.
all well. And I really enjoyed
I
that
adore
type
shit
of.
like that.
And I think it's funny. It's not quite a forgotten game. Like the game itself is forgotten, but the genre is still very much alive. And I feel like this is what indie games used to make indie multiplayer games now, and now we get a lot of indie single player games.
But it's because it's smarter. Because
Yes.
multiplayer games, man, that's putting a lot out there.
right.
Yeah,
And
you got-
there's
I mean,
a
you gotta pay for
resurgence.
servers.
There's a resurgence of indie game multiplayer games with like Lethal Company, Content Warning, that newer one that just came out. But they're like
Repo.
Repo. They're those 4-player,
Headliners.
5-player going into the place back rooms. So I think
Counter-Strike.
we're history's Civil War. So they're really getting into their own. Dota. And then my other game here is Legend of Grimrock, Dungeon Explorer.
Oh yeah, dungeon crawler.
There are
like,
more
literally
dungeon,
a dungeon crawler.
Literally dungeon crawler. There are more dungeon crawlers. I see Dominic Tarson on he always does those huge, he got more popular for all those Steam lists that he would always do on Twitter.
Oh yes,
And he does them
yes,
on Blue
that guy.
Sky now. But he always recommends dungeon crawlers, and I keep saying to myself I should get into another dungeon crawler. But Legend of Grimrock, fantastic dungeon crawler. It combined the like turn-based. It added real time to dungeon crawling, which was like such a weird concept. Where you're like, there are a lot of like you're dodging out of the way, like solving puzzles. Like the boss fight of the final of the first game. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Sorry, I'm just so curious. Is it still like tile in terms of the tile movement is move?
No.
But then the combat's
No,
real
it's just
time?
all real time.
all real time. Okay.
And so the like final boss fight, you're fighting multiple trolls that are spawning, but also the squares are spawning random teleporters on them. So you're like moving around to dodge the trolls, line up like arrow shots and spells, and then moving around. It's really fun. There is a second Legend of Grimrock, which I have played a little bit of, but I've fallen off of. And I've played the intro to that game multiple times to the point where I'm like, I really don't want to start it again and try to make it past. But Legend of Grimrock, fantastic dungeon crawler. So I miss it and I love it.
My exposure to that game was Will Crosby playing it next to me at that terrible job we had.
It's true. I did.
While I played RuneScape.
The RuneScape. That's it for the discussion topic. Folks, let us know how you like the discussion topic. Please write in, join our Discord, let us know what discussion topics you'd like us to talk about, and we'll put them on the list and never get to them because your opinions don't matter to me at all. Yep.
Unless you're Halucha.
What'd you call me, you son of a bitch?
I said unless you're Halucha. Halucha's opinion matters.
Well,
That's true.
It's true. Time for the news. Time for the news. Gaming news. We're gonna talk about video games. I know that wasn't that very loud for you. I'm sorry.
I heard it now. We're at 93 minutes. I got to be honest with you. There's not much to talk about in the news. We've got 3 stories here. I'm just going to lay them out, and we can talk about which ones you want to or not at all. First up, we've got a System Shock 2 remaster has been announced. We have video game workers in North America now have an industry-wide union they can join.
Yeah.
And there are rumors of Xbox partnering up with an OEM to release an Xbox gaming handheld in 2025. Any of these piquing your interest, folks?
Curiosity, did you not see it, or did you not like the story about Japan and Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Shadows?
Oh, we did that. It was like 2 weeks ago, I believe.
With
the one where they're upset about the shrine.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
The Prime Minister weighed in on this shit and said an insane thing about how it was going to make real people do that. They were going to roll around the temples like a fucking Dark Souls game.
you know, everyone's climbing the pyramids of Giza now, so.
Yeah.
Or sailing the Caribbean.
I released a video game and the Prime Minister had to tell me about it. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
System Shock 2 remaster. Woo!
It's
Is
real. It's a
is this
real
the same-
thing.
Same devs that did System Shock 1 remaster?
Yes.
Yes, but the System Shock 1. Here we go. I would call the System Shock 1 a remake rather than a remaster because it's a
Correct.
completely
This is-
different
Because it's
engine
changing a
and
lot,
everything.
right?
Yeah. This, if you watch the trailer, looks like just a remaster, like what they did with The Thing recently. So they're just like reskinning it, tightening up visuals. I assume changing some of the controls and inventory manage because the inventory system in that game is a little. Bleh.
The only
Gotcha.
thing they like actually changed, like 100%, the models are new models for everything, but they put like that texture on to make them look old.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They're doing the you probably saw this, but they're doing the screen swipe.
Yeah,
Which means it's I don't want to say just a remaster, but that's what they're doing here.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it's a good way of defining it. If you can do the screen swipe, it's a remaster.
Yeah.
If you can't, it's probably a remake. Yeah. So I'm
Or
excited
your
for
Master
this.
Chief Collection, you got the button.
I love System Shock 2. One of my favorite video games. I will replay it again with this. It still holds up, and I'm hoping it holds up even more for a new generation of people with this remaster. It looks like fun.
Awesome.
I'm glad they're doing it. I had no idea there was a future game show today.
They didn't. I saw one announcement for it like last week, and then even today when the trailers were dropping, I didn't realize there was a
I
show
thought it was
on.
just trailers were coming out.
Yeah, GameSpot didn't even cover it because I went there and I was like, oh, I wonder if they even thought to cover it. And there was the only trailer that I thought was really big was this one. Everything else was like
there's Painkiller, FBC.
FBC was the other one.
Yeah, so there's 3 big trailers, I would say, at least.
So exciting stuff. Ian, industry-wide union.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about it if we don't want to. I'm leaning into the news show format where it's like we don't have to talk about these news articles unless they're grabbing you.
Okay, that's fine.
I want to talk about the handheld a little bit, just mostly 2 things. One, do you think it'll be any good? And 2, names.
Oh, names is good. I think to your first question, no. And the reason why I say that is we know it's going to run Windows without some significant changes is not a good handheld platform. It doesn't handle sleep well. It doesn't handle battery optimization well. I was talking about this a couple months ago when I was talking about buying a Steam Deck on here, and somebody took one of those ROG Allies, and they had Windows installed on it, and then they installed Steam OS on it, and they did a direct comparison between the games, and it was like 10% less battery life on Windows and like a 10 to 15% fewer frames on Windows compared to Steam. Exact same games, same settings. Like, Windows is not a handheld platform until they make significant changes, and 2025 is way too soon for them to have made those changes. So no, it's not going to be a good handheld because of that, unfortunately.
Wow. What if it's not Windows based?
Then fuck yeah. If it's running Steam OS, then it's all about the hardware. If it's good hardware, good price, then fuck yeah. Because the Steam Deck's great, but it's long in the tooth. It's long in the tooth, that hardware. So, give something a little bit more power, a little bit more battery on it, a little bit better screen. That tech is there. It's just nobody's released it yet.
That's the thing. Me, and this is a me thing. Using my Steam Deck, I have no desire to play games that I play on my Xbox on my Steam Deck. So I think that's mostly the thing. Like, the only situation would be like
minority there, though.
Karen really wants to use the TV and I want to play the Xbox.
But I think you're in the minority there, because there's a lot of people that play new releases on the Steam Deck.
But I just can't imagine playing any modern release on the Steam Deck out the gate.
But is it because of the screen resolution? Because it is
just,
like what, 1200 by 600 or something. It's
I just don't want to play anything that's small.
80s.
Like, it's a handheld,
It's
like how I have to make important purchases on the computer. It's like I have to play important video games on
You do.
on a console.
You fucking do. Vic tells me I'm crazy about that. No, you do. It's important.
No, anything over like $100, $200, you have, unless it's like Amazon, you have to do on the computer.
Yeah.
You're gonna Systems are in place, folks. I gotta pay for a cruise Chris, soon, and I'm doing it on the computer.
Chris, are you excited about this Xbox handheld?
Not particularly. I mean, I like that more people are getting into the handheld space, and I think that it's important that, like, if we're still gonna pretend that that Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo are all standing on the same footing when it comes to the console wars, which they're not. But if we're still gonna pretend that they are, it's important that they all make handhelds.
Yeah. I love that. Like, exactly like you say. I love that this is a new space and it's expanding, and there's a huge market here that people are taking advantage of. I just want all these other hardware manufacturers to catch up. I don't need an Xbox handheld. I need more Steam OS handheld options.
Yeah. And I think it's also like, it's really shows that, like, I think for a while people thought handheld was kind of dead with the Vita flopping and then Nintendo moving away from it to the Wii and the Wii U. We use its own magical beast we don't talk about. But then all praise to the Switch, baby. We're back and stronger than ever.
Yeah.
Honestly, if someone came out with another, like, and this wouldn't happen, it's just the problem, but if someone came out with a handheld and we're making handheld games for this, I'd be into that. But I don't, with the Playdate not doing very well and all that stuff, I don't think that's going to happen again. Like, we'll never get like a DS or 3DS.
We don't need it.
We'll never get a Game Boy Advanced.
But we don't need that because there's no such thing as a handheld game anymore, because of how easy it is to port things to mobile.
But I mean,
how easy it is to port to the Switch and lots of indie games.
That.
But I want a handheld game is the problem. Like, I don't want a game.
We have them.
No, I
think about Switch games.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying when games tailor made for that handheld is sort of the thing I miss.
I feel like the scope of a Game Boy game was just so different than what was on consoles at the time. And I think that's what I like.
Same with like a DS game or something like that.
But that's where indie games have come in, right? Indie games have that space of focused content, smaller playtime.
I'm totally fine with that.
Those games have not gone away.
But if Nintendo was like, hey, we're coming out with a just handheld platform again, which only takes our handheld games, and we're only making handheld games for it, and none of those games will appear on the console, and they're built for that, I'd be like, oh, that's awesome, playing some handheld games again.
But the thing I'm confusing, but you keep saying handheld games as if they don't currently exist, and they do. There would be no difference in the actual game between the games we're currently getting and a game made for a handheld only console.
I mean, the control schema would be different, and that's a big part of it.
Only if it's something fucking weird like the play date.
I don't think you'd get a twin stick if it was a designated handheld.
You don't need one. Think about how many successful indie games there have been recently that you don't need a twin stick for.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Pizza
saying.
Tower, Balatro, etc.
But then that would limit the console. The console wouldn't have analogs.
Yeah, but I think my point is just that you're acting like there's missing hardware, which is true. A dedicated handheld only means there's missing software, but there's not.
No,
We're
I don't
already
think there's
getting those
missing
types of
software.
games.
But I'm saying in this reality, there's a new world where people are only there's developers bound by this handheld that they're making games for it. It's like the UFO 50 thing. It's like those are awesome because they're all in their own constraints for that
They have
system.
restrictions, and constraints.
Yeah, like
that's fair.
Like having there were games that came out for the Wii U and stuff that didn't come out on the DS because the DS couldn't play them, or they made different versions of games. All the versions of the Game Boy games. Like I'm just saying, it was a cool time where they couldn't be like, oh, we're porting this to the Game Boy Advance. No, we have to make our own fucking version of this game. Let's make Harry Potter a Pokemon game for some reason.
So
what you really want is you want bespoke consoles.
Whatever the fuck that is
exactly.
on the goddamn Xbox.
You want consoles that are actually different hardware-wise from each other is what you want.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fair.
Kinda,
And
yeah.
I don't. To be clear, I don't actually want that. But I just think there was that time when it's like,
Kinda do.
hey, I only play 3DS games because it's all I have time for.
Hey,
it's
man.
the form factor I like. Blah 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 blah. Like same.
No, but
going
you're
forward.
right. We've talked about it. The Wii U was fucking great, and there were plenty of great games on it that took advantage of the tablet versus TV. It was awesome. Even the DS and the 3DS with 2 screens, there are plenty of games that took great advantage of that.
Yeah.
There were.
I think that's what that comes down to. Is like even more than I want different hardware, I want unique stuff again.
Yes.
Because there's really no uniqueness outside of whatever gimmick Miyamoto has decided he's in love with currently. There's nothing. There's no uniqueness going on in consoles.
And my other.
That's a good point.
It's not a real argument, but it's the reason why I think Balatro on the phone should be vertical. Like it should have been ported to suit the needs of the device. And I don't.
Yes. There's
And
nothing I hate more than holding my phone like this.
Right.
This
And I
sucks.
think that's what I miss more than anything is like, yes, I can play GTA 6 on my Steam Deck. But I'm sitting there like this and staring at it. I don't want to play it.
You want games tailor made for the hardware.
Right. But I would
and
play
not
a
ported to the
Chinatown
hardware.
Wars 4 or whatever.
Because the problem is that like if you're choosing to play pretty much anything on the Steam Deck that is a major AAA, even AA game, you are choosing a worse experience for convenience as opposed to choosing the experience. When you put a Game Boy Advance game in your fucking Game Boy Advance, you're playing that game the way it was intended, and there's no other options.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Anyway, I hope they call it the Xbox Zero.
We found the
I was
real
trying to think
discussion.
It's got to be a series. It's got to be a series, right? It's got to be Xbox
Series H handheld.
I was thinking like H or Go, like Series Go.
I was thinking Xbox Go,
Go.
but I think that has a negative connotation now because there's so many mobile games are using that. Monopoly Go.
And I think I don't think it has to be, but it's probably going to be one character, right? If it's series, then it's going to be series blank.
H.
One character.
H is.
Series infinite symbol.
I was gonna say Series C.
It's hard to Google.
I kind of like Series 0. It's everywhere.
I don't think they'll do number though. I think
What about
they'll do
P?
letter to
P
stick
for
with.
portable.
Series P.
Series
Honestly,
P.
I would say like no, because it's like that sounds like a little silly, but they literally named something
Or
the
T
X-Bone.
for transport.
Series T.
I'm trying to.
Series
What goes
T
with
actually
X and
sounds
S?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Z maybe, just because like it's just because it's unique.
R.
I'm kind of going back to 0 because I could see them taking the 0. It becomes a globe. Play it anywhere.
Well, what if it's Z and it means 0?
Series Z.
The X and the S don't really mean anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it means
They're
like
just like-
small and X.
It's like generic connotations. Like
yeah,
like,
exactly. They
S is
have
superior.
meaning because of the way those are
Micro?
used.
Actually, no, wait. The S is the worst one. So X, yeah. That's why this is so fun because who fucking knows what they're gonna do? You know,
It's gonna be
not even
W
gonna be a
for
series. It
walrus.
could not be a series.
We give Nintendo shit for crazy names. Xbox is insane.
Yeah.
They named their third console the One. Like,
Yes. Yeah.
Ugh.
So who knows what I could see them not giving it a name either. I could see them just saying it's Asus's ROG Ally 27X with Xbox. Like they don't even give it an official name. It's the Xbox and then their name after it.
I do think that's a problem with stuff like the ROG Ally. Like, just a terrible name.
Terrible name. MSI Claw.
The Lenovo one has a stupid ass name. I forget what it even
Lenovo
is.
Go. Actually, that one's not bad.
No, isn't it like the Shield?
Legion.
Or something like that?
No, it's Lenovo Legion Go.
That's what it is. God, what is
They got too many brand names.
Sounds like a
going on there.
disease.
Oh no,
Yeah.
he's got the Lenovo Legion Go. Terrible.
Yeah. So actually, the more we think about it, I think that's what's going to happen is that it's going to be a model featuring Xbox or with Xbox. Like they're not going to consider this Xbox hardware. This is just a partnership with the first OEM to make an Xbox branded device.
Yeah,
That's it.
I can see that. Cool. Well, thank you, boys. Folks. Where's the button? That's going to be it for the show. I have been your lovely little host, Will Crosby. Joining me this week was the lovely Ian Gibson.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Also joining me was Chris from Save Data.
Buy more Tesla stock.
I'm buying all the Tesla stock. Folks, we'll be back.
He's a great
not
man.
this
He's got a great
weekend,
company.
but we'll be back on Tuesday with some more Minecraft. I forget what we're doing there. We had a great time last week. It was crazy and weird. And we'll be back for that. I might try to stream this weekend. I got that new CRT and I wanted to test some streaming setups, playing some 360 and Xbox games. So you're going to check that out and it's going to be freaking sweet. Thanks so much for watching. Subpixelfilms.com is where you can find all of our content. Local Chat be back in 2 weeks. Love you so much. Please God, for the love of God, in the song. It's almost done. Here we go. And we're out of here.